So I've been reading in Numbers 9, and God just literally gave it to me there like 20 minutes ago. And in Numbers 9 it talks about the Israelites. So they've come out of Egypt, and this is now the second year that they're in wilderness. And Moses is told by God how to do the Passover and how they're going to celebrate it in the wilderness. But then it comes to, I don't even know what verse it is, I just read through it. It comes to the second part of chapter 9, and it talks about the tabernacle of the covenant was set up, and it was in a tent. And there was a cloud that covered the tent by day, and at night time it shone like fire. It displayed as fire. And whenever the cloud moved, the Israelites knew to move. So they would pack up camp and they would move. And it might have stayed there for a week, so they stayed for a week. It might have stayed for a day, so they stayed for a day. And every time that cloud moved, they moved. And I started thinking about this, and I was like, Lord, what are you saying? And clearly it made sense to me about a spirit-led life. So it says whenever the law of the covenant was set up, so whenever you have become under God's love and under his grace and under his rules and under his all of his examples of how he wants you to live, the way you do that is through the presence of God. So that cloud by day and the fire by night is the presence of God on top of the tent. And it was there day and night, day and night, day and night, day and night. It didn't ever disappear. It appeared as two things, but essentially it was the same thing. It was the presence of God. This was how the Israelites were being spirit led. The presence of God, and that's how we're to be. That's how we're to live. Not like it hasn't changed. We're to be spirit led, and how we know to move is whenever, if you're spirit led, God will tell you, and you move when he moves, and you stay when he stays. And that might represent different seasons. People might call it seasons or time frames of what God's doing with you. So when we think about whenever it might have been a day and then they had to pack up and move, or it might have been 2 weeks, and this can represent time periods of where God has you. So for example, I had gone through a real purification and sanctification for months. This went on for, and roughly about 6 months, 7 months, 8, started to settle around month 10, and now we're a year and a half later, and God put me into hiding. After all of that, I was in hiding. I didn't really go anywhere, see anybody. I knew what God's instructions were. Everything was stripped away from me. I had a neighbour who was a Christian, and I would go, like, she would do my nails. That was literally it. And we would talk about God and scriptures, and there was always a God element to our relationship with each other, and that's how I was like, God allows her to be in my life. God literally allows her to be in my life. People at my church is able to go to church, things like that. I didn't really go out for dinner, didn't do anything really with my family. Like, I literally lived a secluded life. Nothing wrong with that. I actually really enjoyed that time, and now I do other things. But that's because God has said, this is what's happening here, and then I need you to move into transition into another season, and we're going to keep you secluded and protected, and then we're going to transition and move into a different period of time. And I just feel a real fulfillment of God in my life, and a peace. And I now know, like, him speaking to me, I can hear him clearly, and I have no anxiety, and I clearly like move when he moves, and I've been like praying, and I've been like, Lord, am I going to go here tonight? Because I've been invited to this, to go here tonight, and I only get to go, like things will happen, I'm like, that's a no. I just know whenever he's telling me to move, and that's how we have to live. We have to live whenever we have to live spirit-led lives, and whenever God says go here, do that, yes you can do that, or no, when you know it's a clear no, don't go there, I haven't given you permission to do that yet, or I don't want you to go there yet, it might be a wait. And be guided by his spirit. So when God says move, the Israelites did not hold on an extra day, didn't hold on 2 extra days. As soon as that cloud moved, boom, they were packed up and gone, because they were obedient. Now the Israelites done lots of crazy stuff, but in Numbers 9 they are obedient. Moses gives them instructions, they do it. They go to ask Moses, what is God saying? Moses goes, finds out from God, comes back, gives an answer, and they do as they're told. And it's the same as the tent. Like, as soon as the presence moved from the tent, they would follow the cloud, and they packed up and they went immediately. They didn't wait for days, they didn't wait for a week. Oh yeah, there's the clouds moved, we're going to go down there, maybe, well, you know what, we'll pack up tomorrow. That's not how it was. It was like packed up and they went. They were so obedient. So in these verses I see obedience, moving when God tells you to move, wait when God tells you to wait. Preaching to myself. Seeking God, like the Israelites would have asked Moses to go and speak to God. We don't need to do that now because we have the Holy Spirit. We've got the Holy Spirit's already there. I mean, the Holy Spirit says move, and he says do this, wait. Like, we just need to be obedient to the Holy Spirit. And you might have different seasons where I don't know, God might ask you to do something for a time period, I don't know, like missionary work, say, and then all of a sudden that might just dry up and end, and you have to acknowledge those times of movement and what God's saying, and that might, you need to be okay with that. You need to be like, God, if that's dried up, I'm taking this, that you don't want me to do this anymore, please give me clarity, and what are we doing next, or where are we going here? And he will, the Spirit will lead you. The Spirit will lead you. And it's said in the verses, as long as the covering, the cloud, was over the camp, they encamped there, they stayed there. So it reminds me, not that you can lose the Holy Spirit, but say you've just, you've not been engaging, you're not listening, you can be way off, you can be in disobedience because you're not following the cloud, you're not following the instructions. So as long as the Holy Spirit is over your life and your mind and your camp, you're not going to miss it. Keep your eyes on the Spirit, your eyes and your ears alive and awake to the Spirit so that He can guide you. But if you're not going to look at the cloud, if the Israelites didn't bother looking at the cloud and taking any heed of it, they wouldn't have known that it had moved, and that He's trying to move you into a different season or a different situation. So keep your eyes on the prize, keep your eyes on the cloud, keep your eyes on His presence. Discern when the Holy Spirit's telling you to move, and move, be obedient, move straight away. Don't drag your feet. He'll guide you into all truth. He'll not set you up for failure. He just can't. It's just not His character. It's not Christ's character. And we have seen Christ's ministry through the Bible. So, and the Holy Spirit is Christ's Spirit, is God's Spirit. So He's not gonna do anything to harm you. He just can't. He just can't. He's so sovereign and He's so holy. He just can't do anything wrong. He can't literally do anything wrong. So trust Him. And I mean, when I think about the Israelites, imagine if you were camping and literally you'd just put all your stuff out, like I'm sure they had like loads of donkeys, your kids, tent, bedding, all that sort of stuff, and then God's presence moves and you're like, hold on a minute, I've just unpacked all of this, I have to pack this up again. I'd have been a bit peeved off, not gonna lie. I'm like, this is a lot of effort. And sometimes when the Spirit says move, we don't want to do it. Don't want to be bothered to do it. You're gonna miss out. If the Israelites hadn't moved, they'd have missed out. They get left behind. They would have got left behind, and there's a delay. And there's a delay in them getting to the camp and having that covering. So keep the Holy Spirit over you. Listen to him when he says move, move. When he says wait, wait. Keep your eyes on him. Keep your ears on him. Be obedient. And discern when the seasons are changing. And that's how you live a Spirit-led life. And when God tells you to leave something behind, because we're going forward, leave it behind and go forward. And be mindful of him. Always check for the cloud. And he'll be your covering every time you encamp. And the protection is always there. You can't go wrong. So there you go. I don't know who that's for. I have been asking God about what to do, clarity in my own situation, to be obedient so I wouldn't get it wrong. I want to get it right. And I suppose he's really saying, Emma, as long as you watch the cloud by day and the fire by night, and the Holy Spirit is always over your camp, always within you, you're listening to him, just do what he tells you to do. Just be obedient. Trust that he's bringing you into something good. You're not going to miss it. If you keep your eyes on the cloud, you're not going to miss it. It's a big, big cloud. The Holy Spirit speaks loud. You just have to listen. You can't go wrong. There you go. Maybe that will encourage someone. Maybe you've been asking God, how do I know? How do I know what's right? And do I move now? Do I go now? The Holy Spirit will keep you right. He'll keep you right. Don't worry. So, don't panic. You'll know in your spirit if you know who the Holy Spirit is to you and how he works in your life and how he speaks in your life, then you know his voice. You're not going to miss it. Speaking to myself, I suppose. So yes, you'll find that in Numbers chapter 9. The first part of it talks about Passover, the second part of it talks about how the Israelites moved around the camp and what they were up to. You can go read it yourself. So obedience is better than sacrifice. Just be obedient. Go when he says go. Wait when he says wait. Come with that heart. He's our guide. He's our pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. And that is talking about the Holy Spirit because he's always represented as fire. So he is the Spirit. If you don't know him, ask the Lord to help you with knowing him, and that he'll send him, because he's promised he sends him. It's in maybe John 15, possibly, about promising the Holy Spirit. Ask him to send him and he'll guide you. Simples.